Hey friends, welcome back to the Rubber Duck Recruiter. Now last week I made a video on how massive layoffs were coming. I made the thumbnail super clickbaity, full of flames and crying babies and stuff. It did pretty well, so drama sells is the moral of the story. This video is for anybody who has been laid off or soon will be laid off. Being laid off has a lot of implications to it, and when I was doing research for this video, I found a lot of information that had great points, but nothing that brought all of the points together. So in today's video, we're gonna do just that. We're gonna start with the logistical actions that you should take if you've just been laid off. Then we're gonna talk finances and how you can prepare for the loss of income that is likely to occur in between jobs. And then finally, we're gonna discuss the 3 big emotions that you're probably gonna feel and how to process and deal with those. But first, I want to thank today's sponsor, you. You sponsor these videos with your time and your attention and your beautiful index finger, wow, that smashes the like button and keeps it employed full time. So you're gonna have some steps that you need to take immediately after being laid off to kind of like get your house in order and make sure everything's copacetic. A layoff letter is used when a company needs to terminate an employee for reasons that were not directly caused by their own actions or performance, aka restructuring, downturns, mergers, etc. You do this because you know at one point you're gonna interview again with a recruiter like me, and I'm gonna ask you, hey, why did you leave your last job, buddy? And you're gonna be like, yo, look at this layoff letter, that's why. And then I'll be like, oh my gosh, this is the equivalent of like a professional presidential pardon. And as a recruiter, I can tell you that layoffs will never ever work against you in the interview process. Negotiating your way out of a company is as important as negotiating your way into a company. And a lot of companies offer severance as a gesture of goodwill, and because employees have to sign a release agreement that says that they're not going to pursue further compensation or legal action as a part of the separation agreement. Employers have their own formulas for calculating a severance amount, but the general rule of thumb is that for every year that you work, you get 4 weeks of pay. So do some research, look into the severance benefits that you have at your company, and do your best to maximize those. Being laid off entitles you to unemployment. Hey. Your eligibility, how much you're gonna receive and how long you're covered for, is gonna depend on where you live. Generally, you're gonna be able to apply for unemployment online, and you can use your favorite search engine to type in Department of Labor, unemployment, benefits in the city and state that you live in. A website's gonna come up that is gonna allow you to submit an application that will help you soften the landing of your layoff. There's a very good chance that your next job is going to come from somebody that you already know. And LinkedIn is a massive ecosystem full of recruiters and colleagues and nice folks that want to extend the olive branch to you and help you get your next job. And your only job is to make sure that your profile is keyword rich and easy to find. And number 2, to make sure that you're easy to refer, which again is by polishing your profile and making sure it's ready to go. All right, here's a recruiter giving financial advice. Welcome to the internet where everybody's super, and when everybody's super,
no one will be.
That wasn't a great joke, but I just love the movie The Incredibles, and I wanted to put it in there. So I'm not a financial advisor for shizzle, but I do have some solid points to make here. The first one is check your expenses and beware of budget creep. You have Netflix and HBO Max, and then you have that $3 app that you've been paying for like 4 years, and then that $90 a month yoga studio that you never go to. All that stuff adds up. When you have a job, you tend to have lifestyle inflation, and when you no longer have that consistent paycheck, you have to decrease that lifestyle inflation. And just like reframe it as things that you save is income that you're making. Speaking of income, multiple streams of income. Now this is coming from a guy who spends 30 hours a week making these YouTube videos and makes $0 from it. But seriously, there are many, many ways to make money. Remember when you were a kid and you sold lemonade with like a borderline unethical markup? You went for it. You were creative. There is not a shortage of jobs. There's just a shortage of high-paying tech jobs at the moment. But if you want to be a bartender or like a snake milker or like a professional snuggler, then the only one stopping you, well, is you. Now, before we jump into the 3 big emotions that you're likely to feel and gonna need to process, Sammy wants to say something. or show you something here.
The message I really want to leave you all with is a very simple one. If you're getting laid off, it's not the end of the world. It can actually be the beginning of something beautiful. As you move forward in life, there will be bad things that happen to you. There will be miserable things that happen to you. You can't control everything that will happen to you in your life. You can control how you react to those things.
So the first big emotion that comes up is everybody's favorite road trip buddy, shame. Aren't you glad you subscribed to this channel where the topics are so lighthearted and fun? Being unemployed can be a source of shame for many people, especially if you're like the primary breadwinner of your family. If left unchecked, shame can permeate other aspects of your life that were otherwise healthy and intact. It's important to understand that shame is a nocturnal animal. It survives and thrives in darkness. And anybody who watches National Geographic as much as I watch it will know that nocturnal predators, once the sun comes up, they can no longer successfully hunt. So how do you shine light on the shame monster? Well, the way you shine light on it is you talk about it with somebody who cares about you, that you care about and trust, and in the light, it eventually withers and dies. Victim mentality. This one's tough because in a way you are a victim, right? I mean, you're at least a victim of circumstance. There's two big things that are wrong with the victim mindset. Being a victim means you give your power, your personal power, over to something or someone else. From this position, it's incredibly easy to fall into counterproductive coping strategies that will at best temporarily numb the thing that you have to face, and at worst will send you into a downward spiral. Also, being a victim messes up your dopamine, and dopamine is a neurotransmitter responsible for craving and desire. We experience dopamine as that feeling of outward directed energy that is moving us toward a goal. Being a victim does is it reduces our sense of personal agency, and that means that we stop setting goals for ourselves, which means we stop receiving the neurotransmitter dopamine that is responsible for moving us forward in our life. The antidote to this is to set small goals that you can begin to work toward. The type of goals aren't as important as the fact that you witness yourself moving toward a chosen goal. The final emotion that we experience is anxiety. Anxiety is the subjective experience of uncertainty. It's the emotion that is trying to protect us from danger or threats by constantly asking, what's next, what's next, what's next? There's a few things that you can do right off the bat to reduce your anxiety big time. Number one, exercise. Exercise. I exercise at 3.5 speed, 10 incline, and I walk for 30 minutes every day. It is the best part of my day. It just calms me down so much. So make sure you get exercise in. Intention. This sounds really crazy, but if you just wake up and you just kind of hope that things will happen, it's really easy to slip into crappy habits. And you do not want to be doing that when you don't have a lot to occupy you. So set intentions for how you want to use this time. And lastly, I would say mindfulness is huge. Becoming the observer of the emotions that happen, realizing that your thoughts and emotions are just like your senses. You can watch them without judging them or trying to create stories about them. That is invaluable. So take up that practice. Final thoughts is that I think being laid off can be a good thing. It's an opportunity to sometimes get yourself out of a situation that, for whatever reason, you weren't courageous enough to get yourself out of when you were there. And that's it. Thank you for watching, subscribing, liking if you haven't already. And as always, may the job seeking odds be ever in your favor. Comment in the comment section, not for me and my whole little YouTube thing, but because people are going to benefit from knowing your story and how you got laid off and how you're thinking about it and how you're dealing with it. And it's gonna help you to write it out too, because it sucks, man. But it's okay if we shine the light, it makes it a little bit easier to metabolize.